Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here with your messages and psychic predictions for April the 15th to the 21st. And Daisy's right here with me. She just came over. She was asleep on her bed here in my office, and she just came over for some pets when she heard my voice. So, oh gosh, you know, it's kind of a dreary day today, and it's Saturday. Normally, I videotape on Wednesday or sometimes Thursday and try to have the videotape for the next week up by Friday or Saturday morning sometimes. This might be the first time I didn't videotape until Saturday, and then I will try to upload this so you'll have it this evening. Why am I waiting till Saturday? You know, Wednesday came and I said, not today. Friday. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe Thursday. Thursday came and I said, nope, something's going to happen Friday. Can't videotape until Friday till I find out what's going to happen. And then I said, but it's not going to happen till in the evening. And so I don't want to wait till Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and videotape. But boy, I tried and it wasn't going to work. So I had to listen to my inner intuition, which said videotape after Friday night. Around 8 o'clock, I put my book down. I was kind of falling asleep reading, which is unusual to fall asleep reading, and I turned on the TV, and I watched a show I'd never seen before. I think it's called Taken. Interesting plot line. I won't tell you about it at this moment. And then, as the show was ending, a news break came. And even though we knew it was coming, it was still hard to hear. My country, along with UK and France, bombed Syria. Supposedly, it was in retaliation for Assad's chemical attack, backed by the Russians. Gandhi said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Let me repeat that. Gandhi said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Will this throw us into World War III? Why did it happen this week? You know, I want to first of all let my friends who are living around the world, most of us in America, in the US, do not agree with most of what our current president does. And we apologize to those of you in other countries for what he says and what he does and the turmoil in the US right now. We apologize for that because there's horrendous turmoil. And I'm afraid it's going to get worse. This week there's a lot of underneath current taking place. We may or may not see what hits the fan, shall we say, because there's a lot underneath. So what I want to say, though, about this raid is whatever, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicity. Synchronicity to me is divine. It comes together. But here we have Monday where the president's attorney, his office is raided and his home is raided and the hotel room where he's staying is raided by federal authority. That doesn't happen unless there is a criminal activity taking place and it has come out that the President of the United States attorney, his private attorney, is being investigated for criminal activity. And so here's the president's private information, and information when he was running for office, as well as since he's been in office, being looked at by federal authorities. That happened at the beginning of the week. And then all of a sudden, Syria's being bombed or being chemical attacked by her own leader, so-called leader, shall we say. And then we are condemning Russia. What's so strange about condemning Russia, our president, U.S. president condemning Russia, is because he has spent all of this time during the pre-election and the election, he has spent all of this time not condemning Russia when there should have been condemnation, or he should have been condemning him. And so suddenly we're not. Whether this was planned or not, my heart breaks for the Syrian people. And I don't have the numbers in front of me other than the number for this year. There were thousands of Syrian refugees that, under President Obama, were allowed into the U.S. and on a track to become citizens, but as refugees. In 2017, when Trump was in, there were, I think, around a little over 3,000. This year, in 2018, and this number I'm certain of, there have only been 11, and it's mid-April already, and only 11 Syrian refugees had been allowed into this country. If the bombing was a humanitarian act, it was not. Humanitarian act is opening up our doors and allowing the refugees to come in. Bombing a foreign country is an act of war and needs congressional approval in the U.S., which was not even asked for, let alone given. This makes my heart very sad. For those in my country, I do not believe the Russians will bomb us. I don't think Russia can afford a war because their leader's taken so much money out of the country. I do think they will retaliate, however. How will they retaliate? They're good at cyber hacking. So they may turn the lights off in New York City, for example. They may hit the grid. They may hit more airports and the grid of the airports. There may be, and I'm not predicting this, this is just something that could happen. They may see that there's a bomb or a chemical bomb planted in the subway. Something, and it feels like something will happen in New York City. And if there's a bomb planted or a chemical bomb planted in the subway, for example, the people who are blamed will not be the people who are the actual guilty of the crime. I want to go back, refer back to what I said earlier on the tape when I was, after taking a little nap last night when I woke up, and I watched a show I'd never seen before. And I always pay attention when there's a show that I feel like I need to turn the TV on, and I pay attention to that show. And the premise of the show was a young man who was not guilty of a bombing was set up through the internet. His identity was stolen, etc., etc. And this team, and I don't know if they're CIA or who this team is, but they proved he was innocent. But the point of the plot being someone who wasn't guilty looked very guilty because of what was put out on the internet falsely. So let's not rush to judgment about anything. Let's not rush to condemnation. Daisy's playing with the tripod, so if there's a little movement here, I apologize. And most importantly, let's keep sending out love. We have to. We have to continue cleansing and clearing our hearts so they're full of love and we're able to send that out to the world. Let's continue as much as we can to add laughter to the world. Let's look at our own angers and cleanse them and change them to joy, because that is the only way we're going to heal this and save our planet and save our world. That's the only way, is if we continue to add love to the world and we continue to add joy. Let's see what Philip has to say. For those of you who are new, I welcome you. I thank you for coming. I thank you for telling your friends and subscribing to my channel. And I thank you for your comments on my weekly messages. I do believe I have a video that is for a meditation for personal and planetary healing, so please feel free. I'll find the link and put it up there. Do please feel free to go ahead and use that meditation if that will help you. Find your own meditation, or just really keep thinking, how do I add joy to the world? I don't want us to put our heads in the sand. I want us to be aware of what's going on, but I also don't want us to get caught in the deep sadness of what's going on. The only way we can help countries like Syria is to reach out one-on-one and help the relief organizations. We can't rely on governments to do the right thing. Governments, especially the U.S. government right now, is hell-bent on war. Let's see what we can do to stop them. In the U.S., we can certainly write our Congress people. In foreign countries, you can let your leaders know that you're working for peace and ask them to push the U.S. toward peace, not war. Philip, my spirit guide, this is a book of oracles that he gave us, and every page has a different wisdom on it. So we just think left to right page and then we flip through. And I am behind on comments, on answering comments, but I will get to that. If not this weekend, probably not, but the first of the week I'll do my best. But I read them, and I thank you so much for your comments. And I thank you so much for your love and that you send to Daisy and to me. So let's see what Philip has to say, shall we? Let's just flip through until we hear stop. And then we think left page or right page, and that's the message that we're getting. And I'm getting that both are important, but I'm getting the right page is really what our message is. The world you see represents your thoughts. As you change your thoughts, so will you change the world. The world you see represents your thoughts. As you change your thoughts, so will you change the world. A lot of what we've been talking about, isn't it? That even with all of this going on out here that we want to stay aware of, that we have to look at the bigger picture. We have to look at what our individual thoughts are. And so, for example, if I'm upset about something, I get to look at that and say, why am I upset? What's going on here? What has me upset? And how can I rectify that? How can I change that to something that makes my life greater and more pleasant? You know, we also have to remind ourselves as we go through this transformation in our world, as we go through all of these unpleasant changes, let's remember the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is coming to a world of greater kindness and love. And as you've heard me say, the pus has to come out of the wound before the wound can heal. That pus coming out is pretty unpleasant. So let's make our lives as happy, as joyful, and as pleasant as possible. Because remember, the world you see represents your thoughts. As you change your thoughts, so will you change the world. And then on the left side, it simply says, to know God better, know yourself better. To know God better, know yourself better. Well, my friends, on this Saturday morning, I want to also let you know, and I don't think this takes a prediction, I think we all expect Rosenstein to be fired. I'm sorry, I believe it's Rosenstein. I said it incorrectly. So we expect him to be fired, and there's a good chance Mueller will be fired. We expect it. Is it going to cause riots in the street? Yes. Is it going to happen this week? If so, it will be later in the week. Again, there's a lot of undercurrent taking place this week, but there are pops, there are breakthroughs. It's like, mud splattering coming up from underneath. And again, the pus is trying to come out of the wound. Let's keep cleansing the wound with love. To our friends in Syria, we hold you. We do what we can. We send you love. We hold you in prayer. We send dollars to relief agencies if we can. And somehow, at a soul level, we remind ourselves we've signed up for this. Give us the strength and the courage to get through it and to find joy while we're getting through it. From Daisy and from me, and you might have heard her over there, she was grooming herself. So thank you for being with us today. We love you. We thank you for loving us. And most of all, we thank you for loving our world and holding it in peace.